what we found is that the big guys, the big websites, the big distributors, the big motion picture companies, they really weren't interested in the little guy. Even the smaller, sort of pseudo-independent distributors really weren't interested in you if you didn't have a budget of, like $500,000. If you were a guy with a great camera and some amazing actors, and you put a load of time into post-production and really made something that was better than a great many things on the shelf at your local video store, you still weren't interesting to them. They really wanted to see something different, and that something different means they wanted to see the exact same thing they've always seen. We quickly figured that if we wanted to get our stuff out there, we would need to put it out on a website, some place where we could put a banner ad or an embedded ad like a lot of the big websites are doing these days, showing short commercials, and that would be a much better way to distribute our content. And we thought, if we're having this problem, I'll about guarantee you there's about 1,000 other people all over this country who are having that exact same problem. So the next step seemed pretty obvious to us. So the next step seemed, I don't know what it is about that word. Maybe it's the train going by, I don't know. Social networking has really reshaped the way that we do business. The weblogging thing is probably the most recent tweak that we've made to how we do things. And I'm just always amazed at the idea that people would be interested in the things that I'm doing in my day-to-day life. But just as an example, I'm shooting this on a Tuesday, this interview, and just this past Saturday, I got together with some people. Gosh, I don't even know how many people were here that day. It was between 40 and 50 people. And I got up about 8 o'clock in the morning, and by the time I was done with that day, it was probably about 4:30 the next morning. So it was, getting close to a 24-hour film shoot. And I guess that aspect of, look what this guy's doing, this isn't normal, this isn't like a 9-to-5 job, this isn't something that a sort of a normal group of people would do. This is something that's very artistic and requires sacrifice and requires extremely hard work and a lot of preparation, and just go all day long, barely stop to throw a piece of pizza down your throat. People coming up to you saying, here, drink this water, I think you need it. So it's really interesting to me initially that people would be interested in what I do sort of on a day-to-day basis. But then I have a day like Saturday, and I think, well, gosh, I'd sit there and read a couple paragraphs about a guy who went through an experience like that, if only to glean some knowledge and to try to figure out what it was that he was doing and what he accomplished, and maybe what I could do to learn from that circumstance. As an independent film producer first, and a web corporate guy second, I'm very excited about this internet site because I think it's going to be one of those things that when it takes off, I'm not going to say if it takes off, I'm going to say when it takes off, it's going to be an amazing resource. And I want to reiterate that this is not something we're doing to make $1 million. I would sure love it if I made $1 million. I'm not going to turn down $1 million. But I know that if somebody came along and said, we really like your website, we'd like to buy it, or if so many people came to our website in order to put content up and to view content, that we started making a great deal of money, which, by the way, our business model does not really look like we're going to make a lot of money. It looks like we're going to be a website for independent content, for independent movies, shorts, series, the whole bit, but that it's going to be there to host independent content, and it's going to be art for art's sake. It's not going to be art in order to make money. There's not this sort of game plan where in 3 years we're all going to be sitting in the Mediterranean on these huge yachts. This is the kind of thing that we want to get these amazing independent producers' stuff out there. We see such colossal creativity going on in the independent world, and now that technology has allowed some of us to have these cameras that for $10,000, $20,000, which sounds like a lot of money, but when you can get a camera for that kind of money and create things that you could throw up on a huge screen for people in a movie theater watch, or people at a drive-in, or people at a megaplex, you could throw them up on these huge screens and people really wouldn't know the difference between that $100,000 camera that they're using down at the big studio in California. So it's a very exciting time for the technology, for the social aspect of all of this, and certainly for the artists out there who really don't care about all that stuff. They just want their stuff to get out there on the internet. And I'm very excited as an artist who wants my stuff to be out on the internet, and I'm also very excited as a businessman who wants to help those artists get their stuff out on the internet. I'd really like for you to go to digitalnewageentertainment.com and check out what we've got going on. There's going to be new stuff arriving just about every day. We're already talking to a tremendous amount of people, even though we've only had our website up for a couple of months. Gosh, it's probably only been about a month right now, but by the time this hits the net, maybe it'll be a few months.